Hi, I'm Abby. I'm from UK Online Centres, and I'm going to give you a really quick guide to getting some PR for your event. So why do PR? Well, it's free. It's much more believable than like a paid-for advert. It's really great for your reputation and building your reputation in the local community. And it could be the start of a beautiful relationship with your local media that could do a lot of good in the long term. So first things first, know your media. So what are your learners or potential learners listening to? What radio stations do they listen to? What TV stations do they watch? What newspapers do they read? You've got to know your local media so you know who you're going to contact. Next, before you get in contact, you've got to build your story. You've got to know what your story is. So what's happening? What are the building blocks of your event that you're going to sell into for instance, the newspaper? When's the best day for you to run your event? Think about what else is going on in the local area. You want to run it on a day that the newspaper or the radio station is really likely to cover it. So think about timing. Who do you need to be there? So who from your staff or your star learners need to be there? You want them to be there to kind of meet journalists if they come along on the day. So you've got to think about who's got to be there. How is it going to unfold? What's interesting about what you're doing? So really kind of think about those planning blocks, about what's happening. You have got to sell this story to your media. So you've got to know why you're doing it. Why should the journalist be there? Why is it brilliant for the local community? Why do local people need to know about your event? What is the wow factor here? You need to know all of that before you get in contact with your media. So what do we want from the media when we're getting in contact with them? Well, first of all, you'd like them, if it's a newspaper, for instance, to run a pre-event article or an item on a radio station to help you get bums on seats. So it's like free advertising. They're going to say, oh, the local Sheffield UK Online Centre is running a brilliant event. Everybody should go along next Tuesday at 2:00. Next thing you want, if you can get it, is a journalist or photographer to come along and get the story live. So they can do some interviews, get some pics, or get some vox pops, some little interviews with some of your learners. Third thing you'd like them to do a feature about how fab your event was after the event, so including all the pictures that they got, perhaps getting those pictures on the day. Now, it's always possible, of course, that the media don't turn up. So if there's been, I don't know, a massive explosion down the road, or David Beckham is visiting a local primary school at the same day, they may send their photographer to that event instead of your event. So it's always a possibility. You've got to think about it. So the next thing you want them to do, if you can't get 1, 2 and 3, the next thing, you want them to include your post-event press release and all of your lovely pictures in an article about how fab your event was and how great your centre is. Never ever worry about being the dead donkey. Now, Drop the Dead Donkey was a comedy show, but it was very serious about what media do. So if they've got kind of a good fluffy news story and exciting great event for local community like your story is, if something major happens elsewhere, that's where they have to send their journalists. So don't worry if you're the dead donkey. This is why you're taking your own pictures and you're writing your own press releases. So when you're writing that press release, so you're telling the media all about your event and how fab it is, here are some top tips. You've got to remember that journalists are very busy people. This is a newspaper office here, and they're really, really busy. So some top tips to make your press release stand out. Think of a snappy headline for it. Work from the top down, so think about a pyramid. You need to arrange your information so that the most important things, the what, where, who, when and why, are right at the top. Use some quotes as you work down your press release. Add a bit of human interest by using some quotes. So you could quote from yourself, you could quote from one of your star learners, something like that. Add your contact number. Don't forget, they've got to be able to get back in touch with you. Always spell check. You don't want the stories to be about your kind of misspelling rather than about your brilliant event. And email etiquette. It's always best to cut and paste your press release into the body of an email so you're not blocking up their inboxes too much. And that goes for pictures too. Remember just to give them a little ring first and ask if they want them to their inbox or if they want their pictures to a picture desk, because they're not going to thank you for sending them a 4 megabyte email that stuffs up their inbox and stops them getting more press releases. So do take those pictures, really important. Newspapers love pictures, especially local newspapers. And if you've got a picture, they're more likely to run your story. So make the picture personal. No PR lineups like this boring one here. What you want is to focus on faces and sort of minimise your background, like all these happy people here. This is another example down here. Now, it's obviously a busy event. There's a lot going on, but you've got some great personal interaction in this photo. It's good. Add a caption, but make sure you spell it right. So make sure that you've spelled everyone's names right. Always, always follow your press release up. Don't just send it and expect it to appear in the newspaper. Give them a ring. Ask them if they received it. Ask them if they're interested in the story. If they're not interested in the story, ask them why not and what they would be interested in and how you can start working together. Next tip, get right in those press releases. And we've got everything that you need. We've got a template of a pre-event press release for you to send to them. We've got a media invite for you to invite them along. We've got a post-event press release for you to send to them about how great your event was. And we've even got a post-event press release that you can send out to them about someone who's visited your event. And then a few weeks on, you can send them a brilliant case study about how much that person has achieved with computers and the internet. We've also got this, the how-to guide to PR, which goes into loads more detail than I can go in here, and it is an absolute must-read. Please do have a look at it. You will be able to find it here, www.ukonlinecentres.com. It will either be all of these things, will either be in the campaign section, or if you go to Centre Partners, in the marketing section. Best of luck to you. Enjoy.